Welcome back! It's finding new films and a new face. As always, it's your boy, Hunter. This is one of my roommates. This is one of my best friends since I was 15. His name's Zach. What's up, Zach?
Hey, what's going on?
We watched a new movie, as per usual. This time was Zach's pick, kind of.
Yeah, it was mutual.
So if you saw the end of last week's episode, I had to asterisk myself like 3 times. I was like, "Oh, we're probably watching La La Land with Spencer," and I had to hit ad Astra with the Zach, and then, but nevertheless, we're here. Ad Astra, Zach. I had originally picked this movie, and I was like, "We can change it." And Zach was like,
Yeah, I'm a sucker for sci-fi. What can I say?
If it's got space, Zach will watch
there.
it. Zach's in space constantly. At work, he's at space.
I'm spaced out right now, actually.
I don't know where I am. But, yeah. So, Ad Astra. That's where we are. What were your thoughts going into this movie?
Really excited. Gave it my all, 110%. I was really excited to watch this movie. It was one I heard about when it first came out, but I just never took the time to actually watch it.
Yeah, I should go on record and go ahead and say I really wanted to see this movie when it came out. I still lived with my parents when this movie came out, and I went to the theaters with my parents after having worked an 8-hour shift earlier that morning. With a reclined seat theater, fully in the dark.
Deadly
and
combo.
If you've ever seen this movie, it's pretty quiet. Like, there's some intense moments where the sound really gets turned up, but there's some quiet moments in this movie, and nevertheless, I fell asleep. And I've only seen the first 20 minutes. So watching this movie again for like the first 20 minutes was like honestly a refresher. Yeah, it was just a recap. But everything after that I hadn't seen. But glad to have seen it because this movie was really good.
It was really good.
I did not think that I would think as highly as I do of this movie, but I think it really hits the mark really, really well. Any thoughts, like, as soon as the movie ends, like, any thoughts of, immediate quick reactions to how you felt about it?
Well, it really didn't go in the direction I thought it was. Like, I don't know, I think Interstellar came out like before that, sometime similar. So I thought it was going to be more of like a mind altering, fourth dimension type thing. Like, his dad went some like anomaly, got lost, but it was very just like real. Yeah. Like, it was a very real space movie.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's such rooted in humanity, and having like, I mean, I think that's one of my notes too. Is like, this movie it's like Interstellar, but it's even more human.
Yeah.
Like, you have that.
It's so much more relatable.
Right. Yeah. I feel like, and I mean, we talked about this. I had talked to my dad since he had seen this movie. We talked about it, and he was like, "You could take space out of this movie, and it'd still be a great movie."
Yeah.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly. This movie, I feel like this movie really hits on all aspects, and it just really speaks to like human will, human sacrifice, all of that stuff. Really loved it. So I think from there we're going to transition into getting into some specifics about production, and then we're going to read the plot, and then we're going to get deep into our thoughts, because this movie offers you the opportunity to get deep into your thoughts.
Oh, it really does.
It really, really does, and I love it. So, Ad Astra, released in 2019, runtime of 124 minutes, about 2 hours and 4 minutes. It's written by James Gray and Ethan Gross, directed by James Gray. Score is done by Max Richter. The camera work is done by Hoyt van Hoytema. Star of the movie, Brad Pitt. I would say Tommy Lee Jones is another star of the movie. And really not a large cast, filled out by Ruth Negga, Donald Sutherland, and Liv Tyler. The cast was incredible in this movie. Acting was. I'm gonna I don't normally stop after the cast, but I have to shout it out. This cast was perfectly cast, and they all deliver perfectly, and that could probably say something to the direction of the, of the characters. But I thought the acting was great. What do you think?
Yeah, no, Brad Pitt was amazing. Plus, like, his narrating throughout the entire movie was really good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, his voice is really soothing.
Yeah, the narration I thought was one of the very, very strong points of the movie. I mean, I feel like the narration really drove the movie at certain points.
Because, like, I mean, there is just a lot of silence.
Yeah. And I love that about the score. I love them painting the space in such a realistic way of it being, like, silent.
Whenever the camera's outside the ship, it's dead silent,
Yeah, and I feel like the score is more painting how the character feels in the moment rather than you. It's not meant to be interpreted as, like, oh, that's what's happening outside the ship. And there was a few moments where there was some explosions, and they were audible, and I'm like, well, that's not real, but
yeah,
you kind of have to play to, Hollywood and that type of thing. But so there will always be that. But I love the realism that's mostly throughout the score. I love how they sold the movie as mostly silent, and I think that's how all space movies should be sold. But that's me personally. But I'm going to read the plot real quick, and we're going to dive deeper into our thoughts. Okay, I'm going to try to get through this without fucking it up. Okay. Plot as follows. In the late 21st century, the solar system is being struck by mysterious power surges, threatening all human life. Major Roy McBride, son of presumed dead astronaut H. Clifford McBride, is informed by U.S. Space Command, Spacecom, that the surges have been traced to the Lima Project, created 29 years earlier under Clifford's leadership to search the galaxy for intelligent life. Nothing has been heard from the Lima crew since reaching Neptune 16 years ago. Told his father may be alive, Roy agrees to travel to Mars where he can attempt to establish communication with him. Roy is joined by Colonel Pruitt, his father's old associate. Roy, acclaimed for his ability to remain calm under extreme pressure, shows little emotional reaction to his father possibly being alive. Arriving on the moon, Roy and Pruitt are then escorted by U.S. military personnel to the Spacecom base located in a disputed war zone on the moon's far side. En route to the lunar rovers, scavenger pirates ambush them and kill the escorts. Roy and Pruitt make it to the base, but Pruitt suffers cardiac problems and remains behind. He gives Roy a classified message stating that if Roy fails to contact his father, then the Lima Project station will have to be destroyed. As Roy travels to Mars aboard Cepheus, a distress signal is received from a Norwegian biomedical research space station. Captain Tanner insists they must investigate, overriding Roy's protest that the mission takes precedence and other ships can respond. The station appears to be abandoned. Tanner and Roy split up to investigate. Roy discovers an escaped baboon attacking Tanner. Roy kills it, then a second baboon. Tanner dies from his injuries, but Roy shows little emotion. In a psychological evaluation, he admits to experiencing rage and recalls his father expressing his own rage. Another surge hits as the Cepheus is attempting to land on Mars. Roy assumes command and calmly lands the ship after the acting captain/pilot is overcome with fear. In the underground Spacecom base, Roy meets facility director Helen Lantos. He is told to record voice messages to send to the Lima Project in hopes that Clifford will respond. After receiving no response from their first message, the crew sends another, during which Roy goes off script with an emotional appeal to his father. Cliff responds, though Roy is prevented from hearing the message. Spacecom plans a mission to send the Lima Project Station. Spacecom plans a mission to the Lima Project Station, but refuses to allow Roy to participate, believing his personal connection poses a risk. Roy's demand to hear the response is ignored, and he is summarily removed to a comfort room. While sequestered, Roy is visited by Lantos, who reveals that both her parents were Lima Project members. She shows Roy classified footage revealing that Clifford's team mutinied and attempted to return to Earth, causing him to shut off their life support systems. Her parents were among those killed. She tells Roy that the Cepheus will go to Lima Project Station to destroy it with a nuclear weapon. The two decide that Roy should confront Clifford, and Lantos help Roy gain access to the rocket launch site. Roy climbs aboard the rocket and takes off and is immediately discovered by the crew, who are instructed to neutralize him at any cost. The crew is unintentionally killed in the confrontation. During the 79-day journey to Neptune, a solitary Roy reflects on his own relationship with his father and his estranged wife, Eve. The mission's isolation and stress takes a mental toll. While approaching the Lima Project Station and a shuttle attached to the Cepheus, the shuttle is damaged in a collision with objects in Neptune's ring during another surge and is unable to dock with the station. Roy enters the station via a spacewalk while the shuttle drifts away. Finding the crew's dead bodies inside, he plants the nuclear weapon before encountering Clifford, the station's sole survivor. Clifford explains that the surges are coming from the ship's malfunctioning antimatter power source, which is damaged in the mutiny. Clifford reveals to Roy that there are no extraterrestrial life out there and human beings are alone in this universe. Clifford admits to Roy that he never really cared about his family and does not consider Earth his home. Roy copies data gathered by the Lima Project team and persuades Clifford to accompany him back to Earth. He arms the bomb and they climb out on the station's outer hull to return to the Cepheus. Clifford suddenly launches them into space using his spacesuit's thrusters. Clifford pleads for Roy to untether him. Roy reluctantly does so and watches his father drift away into space. Roy propels him back to the Cepheus using his own spacesuit without enough fuel to return home. Roy relies on a shockwave from the nuclear explosion in the station to propel the Cepheus. The data retrieved from the Lima Project base suggests that humans are the only intelligent life in galaxy. Roy is inspired to reconnect with those closest to him, and he returns to Earth with a newfound optimism. After expressing his opinions in a psychological evaluation, he rejoins his wife. And that is Ad Astra. So, yeah.
Pretty heavy.
Very heavy.
Especially towards the end.
Very, very heavy stuff.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just start from the top. That first explosion in the movie, where he's just like on that lunar antenna, or the space antenna, and he just like
that was metal. that was insane.
And he just lets go.
I for sure thought it started the movie with him just dying.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of a weird. A weird start point for your movie to just have your main character die, but
like free falling from the stratosphere, like.
But I guess we're in different times. This is the late 21st century, so.
Is that when it was? Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
I think so. It just said some time in the future.
Yeah.
So.
I was wondering because inflation was crazy. They said there was like $120 for like a blanket and a pillow.
But you have to imagine you are kind of paying for jet fuel.
That's true. They are on a spaceship.
You're paying for rocket fuel.
That's very true.
So, yeah, I don't know. I also have another note. I really enjoyed the sound design when they told him that his dad was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sound, completely, like it's kind of gets muffled.
Mm-hmm.
As if you're in his head of
processing this information.
Like holy shit! Like I don't hear anything else we're saying.
He hasn't seen his dad in 29 years. And...
Yeah, and you just have somebody like, I kind of think your dad's alive.
Yeah. Actually, we know your dad's alive.
yeah. And we're gonna have you out there. We're gonna send you out.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna try to get him back.
We want you to do it.
are you cool? Are you feeling good? Or I couldn't.
No, I could not.
I would be like, no, thank you.
His character in this movie is so stone cold. Like, he's very emotionless in the very, like, first half of the movie.
Yeah. I have right here, I have Brad Pitt disappears in this role despite literally them changing nothing about his appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could believe this is 100% a different person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fully Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
but the way that he, like, the zen that this character feels like he has, which you come to find out and you come to realize is really just compartmentalization.
Yeah, just bottled up emotions.
Yeah, bottled up rage.
Yeah.
And he, it honestly becomes, over the course of the movie, it becomes devastating.
Yeah, no, because it all comes out when he, like, comes back to Earth after his dad dies.
Yeah, I really, yeah. What were you going to say?
It just, like, everything just kind of put it in perspective for him. Like, he would always, like, you know, push away his wife for his career. And I feel like...
And I love them playing that into, well, he watched his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is he gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, his dad left him and his family when he was 16 years old.
And he watched his mom, like he said in the movie, I mean, he saw her become ill, and it's like... As much as he wants to, how can he develop empathy?
Yeah.
And, you know, Roy's character, like Brad Pitt's character, is probably a sociopath, or... Because I feel like he still does have empathy, but, you know, at the same time, I feel like he feels like he's above people. Yeah.
Especially around, like, other colleagues whenever he was making his travels.
Yeah.
Like that one, assistant pilot who was shitting bricks whenever he was trying to land the plane.
Yeah, they were like, we're 20 degrees off.
Yeah,
he's just like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Brad Pitt came in, Sigma male moment, just fucking... Alright, you take it from here.
I'm not going to tell anybody that happened, but you know why I did that. That was wild. He was like, no, sir, I hope you know why I did that.
You're welcome.
And I'm not going to tell anybody what happened. And then I love them playing that into, like, oh, now these guys are going to go kill my dad. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, no, if anybody's going to kill that, it's going to be me.
It's like, motherfucking Roy.
You don't even know that happened. I'm going to show you what fucking pain is. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have this written down. I have, quote, "We are world eaters." I'm pretty sure Brad Pitt said that earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
One of his voiceovers. The voiceovers in this movie are written so well.
They are.
Like, the philosophy that they're trying to put forth, and just, like, the overall just...
Honestly, it was really surprising to hear him say that. Because, like, watching the movie, like, first time, I always just imagined him as, like, this, like, U.S. military robot type of guy, like, you know, follow orders, but, like, he actually has this, like, a lot of what he's doing, he kind of resents.
Yeah. Very self-serving, but in a way that you can really sit back and be like, I don't see a problem with anything that you're doing. You're just doing what I would do. So that's definitely an interesting aspect of it. Capitalism is definitely a big theme of this movie.
Yeah.
And its further advancements as we get into the future and... Yeah. I mean,
further expansion.
Virgin Atlantic taking you to the fucking moon. And
yeah.
They're
talking about commercial flights, like commercial space flights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It being like, oh, when's the last time you went to the moon? It's like,
it's been a long time, but
it's been a while. Like, it having been a while for a human being to be at the moon is pretty wild.
To say.
And, you know.
To have in your passport book.
Yeah, they just stamp it into your passport. That'd be pretty cool, honestly. But yeah, I don't know. I really, really enjoyed the aspect of this movie where it didn't take any shortcuts at all. It could have taken every single out possible. There's so many shortcuts that it could have taken with the story. It could have glossed. It could have glossed over how he got to the moon.
That's
it could have glossed over how he got to Mars. It could have glossed over how he got to Neptune. And every single time they took the time out to write a logical reason for why everything happened. And maybe it's not logical, but
antimatter is leaking and there's EMP waves coming to the Earth.
Right.
But yeah, it all makes sense.
But it gave you a very linear story of why you're out there.
Yeah.
It could have very well been like, oh, there's aliens. You know. But it literally just being like, no, his dad just kind of went insane with his research. And,
I mean, 29 years in space. Makes sense.
Yeah. No, the first thing that he saw when the Martian lady, what is her name?
Oh, the girl that helped him.
Her name is in here. It doesn't really matter. But the lady who's from Mars, whose parents were killed by his parents.
Yeah.
That first time where he's seeing that video when he's like, they tried to compromise the mission and I had to do what I had to do. And he's like, some of the guilty were killed and some of the innocent were killed. And it's like,
is that your dad, Roy?
and I loved the graying out of the morality. And, even when he accidentally kills those, like all those people who are just trying to like stop him from
just neutralize him.
Just joining the mission.
God, that was a trip. First, like 5 minutes on board, he's like, "Guys, chill out. I'm just trying to help you guys."
And he murders all of them.
They all just die on accident, really.
Yeah, I don't even know how the first girl died. Like, I still can't comprehend it.
Yeah, that really shocked me. Well, like the fuel pod ejected, so there was like kickback in the ship.
Oh, and she just got fucking
0 G's. She just got shoved to the back of the ship. Yeah. That really, God.
Oh my God! I mean, it was pretty similar to when he pressurized the cabin and killed that baboon.
That was wild.
That was gruesome.
I wrote down a note just saying "space monkeys?" question mark.
Bro, I have the same shit. Where is it? Up here, rabbits.
That's so funny. Because like going into this movie, like I said, I thought it was gonna be like some kind of otherworldly explanation. So I was like, "Yo, what's going on with this guy? Like, is there an alien? Like, is there like something?"
No, I swear, I thought we were about to get a Planet of the Apes type shit.
Oh my God, there's so many different turns in that movie. Like, I just did not know where it was going.
It was, but I loved it. I loved the. I don't know if I loved the space monkeys part.
Yeah, that was a bit outlandish.
I could have gone without the space monkeys stuff. I'll be honest. I'd say that's like the weak part of the movie, but I think that's like one of those things that serves the idea of capitalism and like the fact that if we keep going on like this path of like hating animals, that this is like we're getting our retribution for testing ourselves with like testing on animals.
Yeah, like it's all your fault. You brought monkeys with you in an enclosed capsule in space.
Yeah. And you expect them to like have their wits about them, or like stay sane. It's honestly, and I understand that aspect of it, so that's why I don't mind it that much. What were you gonna say?
It could be like alluding to like his father pretty much going crazy and killing everybody on board.
And another part of that is like you look at baboons, you look at apes, and like we obviously all understand like the correlation there is like we came from them, and it's like how different are we really than the baboons in space? And I get that because then you look and the Cepheus's whole crew eventually acts the same as the baboons do.
They're taking mood stabilizers.
Yeah, I mean, bro, and they attack him in the same like animalistic way. So, Yeah, definitely that part.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Now that we talk about it, I kind of grew on me a
Yeah.
little bit. I'm glad. See, this podcast is good.
It's enlightening.
I like this. Yeah, no, yeah, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've talked about it, I like that part a lot now.
All right, I think it's time for our ad break.
It honestly is. It's running close. So we got
Shout out ASPCA for sponsoring this video.
Thank you, PETA, for sponsoring this video.
Baboons are tight.
Yeah, when he pressurized that cabin, I was so pissed off. When he shot that baboon, I was red hot. I was red hot.
Yeah, calm down.
But yeah, I think we have time for like one or two more thoughts, and then we're gonna hit the break. The cinematography on that Mayday scene was incredible. When I don't know if you remember it, but they hit that like 360 shot, and then they like went out of the capsule.
Yeah.
And then they went back into the capsule, and they hit another 360. One of my favorite cinematographers is Hoyt Van Hoyt-Hema. He has done a lot of really good movies.
What others?
I was super excited when I saw this movie. He put me on the spot, so I don't remember, but I'll look it up. But he's always been known for like exposure in dark movies. So very apt for him to be in this movie. But I'm seeing right here, he was the cinematographer on Her from 2013 with Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah. That movie is beautiful.
ScarJo.
He was a cinematographer on Interstellar,
Tenet. Oh my god.
Dunkirk. So Nope.
He's definitely like not a novice when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's the guy. Spectre, the 007 movie, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. It goes on and on.
Inspector Gadget?
Yeah, he's a great cinematographer. And Nope is mostly filmed in the dark as well. So,
speaking of which, I loved how, like whenever they're on the moon, like the dark side and the light side. I don't know, switching into like going from riding the dune buggy from the light side to the dark side it was so cool.
Yeah, metaphor there too, and beautiful one at that.
Yeah, especially after the chase scene.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there's some really good action scenes like in this movie.
Yeah.
Like it can be like a slow burn, but like it really catches you off guard when it happens.
Yeah, they did a really good job, and having to work with the like physics of that too, like the zero gravity physics.
Yeah, they did a lot with that. Like they really used it creatively.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Even to the shooting the pain relievers, or the mood stabilizers rather. But yeah, I thought they did a great job of like just in general painting space, and then grounding that story as well. And yeah. But we got 30 seconds left on our timer, so I'm going to transition us into the break and stick with us. We're going to finish up our thoughts. I think, this has been the most like all over the place we've really been with our thoughts, but I think it's serving it really well. I think this movie can be all over the place. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, stick with it. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Another finger gun. Where are the aliens? That's my question for you.
They're not around, bro. They don't exist.
Okay, fair point. Let's move on. We've talked about this enough.
Welcome back. We didn't script that at all. I've said it like 30 times, but we'll go over it for a 31st. This film is a worst case scenario for what space capitalism could possibly be.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to go further into that. I think that's very straightforward. Talked about this. The pressurized cabin scene where he pressurizes the cabin and implodes that monkey is disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like, gut-wrenching to watch. And, not gut-wrenching. It's a monkey, but...
Yeah. I didn't know him.
We're sponsored by PETA. No.
No, but yeah. Plus, like, his heart rate didn't... Like, they reveal that his heart rate just doesn't spike at all during intense scenes. Like, he's so calm under pressure.
The baboons hit, and he was like, oh, you're at 70 BPM.
Yeah.
You're kind of getting high there, bud.
The Apple Watch telling him to stand up every once in a while.
You've hit your walking goal for today. God, I hate that shit so bad. They ripped that fucking guy's nose off. Though.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. Like, I didn't realize it until they showed his body afterwards, but damn, they really studied their baboon attacks. Like
that was, and like I said, that's where they kind of, like, every part of the movie they don't fucking just, like, half-ass anything. His whole nose got ripped off. Yeah. And, like, they took the time to, like, do that and make sure that was a part of the movie. And I don't know. I feel like it enhanced the movie a lot. But that was pretty grotesque. That nose was fully ripped off and fully shown that it was ripped off.
The Voldemort treatment.
And next note I have monologue about rage was beautifully intense and extremely vulnerable, and
it was like one of the first times you see him open up.
Yeah, it was very heartwarming. I really loved it a lot,
especially like during those little sessions where he has to be approved psychologically. Like, it's really like he really turned into like his own therapy session. Like, as soon as he got approved, he went completely silent. Like, he's like, there's no reason to talk about this anymore. Like, it's so
those psyche valves really pound home the idea of, like, the compartmentalization. They show so well because you've seen what happened, and then he goes to talk about it and he's just like, whatever.
He goes, how are you feeling? He always talks about everything other than himself. During the site, like, you can tell he's avoiding it.
And I love the touch that he goes into his father's rage, and he still gets approved for his psych evaluation.
Yeah, that part was,
I love that touch. I love that he was approved for being vulnerable in that situation.
And then later on in the movie, he was, like, being fake during his evaluation. He was like, I did the job. I did what had to be done. And he got denied.
And they're reading his heart rate, and they're like, you're not feeling that way, actually, about it. You have a lot more emotion than you're leading on, and I really enjoyed that touch of it being like, oh, you're still cool, calm, and collected, but you're being honest, and that you're approved because you're still thinking with a sound mind. And with a clear conscience, but later on, it's very obvious to the AI even that he's not thinking with a clear conscience.
You're fucked up.
You're not like that, and that's what we're trying to tell you, and you're not listening. Loved those scenes. Those psych evaluation scenes were some of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion. You feel the same way?
I do. Yeah. Especially whenever he's when they give him the script to send out messages to his dad to try to contact him. And, like, the first time he goes off script, they actually get a response back from his dad.
Yes. Absolutely love those scenes. Oh, God. I mean, like, I'm going to get a little intimate here. As someone who has, like, a pretty great relationship with their dad. This movie is super, super duper, fucking great to watch.
You think it's not good to watch if you have...
No.
Daddy issues?
No. It helped... Maybe.
Yeah, no, honestly, it might be a bit triggering.
Maybe. But I'm saying, knowing, like, I want to say this right. So, like, this movie does a great job of painting how men have to mask their emotions within society to feel like they're still being, like, treated as people.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other layer of men masking their emotions because they need to be accepted by other men.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole other layer of him masking his emotions because he wants to still, like, have the relationship with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like this movie does such a good job of, like, displaying masculinity and the pitfalls and the like what can bring you up through masculinity, like what good masculinity looks like and what bad masculinity looks like, and the gray area of masculinity where it's like, am I so wrong for compartmentalizing these feelings because they are really hard and like it's like, if I had to deal with this at all times, like I would kill myself probably.
Yeah.
In his scenario because of what he's seen and him dealing with that and you knowing everything he's had to deal with. I mean, he has to deal with the guilt of accidentally having killed 3 people because they're trying to stop him from
seeing his father. Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah.
and the fact that he can compartmentalize that is alarming.
Yeah,
and
very scary.
It's alarming. It's super alarming.
Yeah.
But the fact that it kind of just like it runs as like a well that happened type of thing is like kind of how men are made to feel in this society and sometimes, and that's alarming. And yeah, that's all I was trying to speak to really is that like it really plays on how society views masculinity and how men react to said societal like expectations, and yeah, I thought it did a great job of speaking to that, and yeah, that's all I have for that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get that thought out. Super duper super good film for explaining masculinity within layers. But yeah, first movie in the history of the podcast to make me cry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Which parts?
The part where he realizes that his dad is still alive, or he might be, and like the sound cuts out a little bit, and he like starts zoning in on like maybe my dad is alive. That like teared me up a little bit, but I think the moment that really got me was when he. Oh, I think I wrote the line right above it. Yeah, I did. That line where he says, I don't want to be my dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he makes it clear that he does not want to make the same mistakes as his dad. And
was that during the third, like the psyche evaluation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where he's talking about rage.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty deep.
That was tough to hear. And like him being like, I don't want to be like my dad. And
I mean, he grew up thinking his dad was a hero.
Yeah. And
then getting out there and seeing who he truly was, it's really shocking.
I have to imagine it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I mean, you think your dad's a hero, and then all these people along the way are like, I loved your dad. He's a good guy.
He's the reason I'm up here right now.
At the same time,
and
like, you gotta.
Oh my God! Sorry to go off topic, but the scene where he enters his dad's spaceship for the first time. Like seeing all the bodies float around and then seeing the TV in the corner playing the like old-timey musicals that he talked about how much he liked watching with him as a kid. That was tough.
Yeah. And
that was really tough.
The way that it was like played into the score of everything, of being so ominous and echoing through the station. Like
his dead crewmates just floating around.
Yeah. And it's like, this is the only thing that's keeping him, like, remotely sane is, like, seeing these old, like, films that, like, grounds him back. And he says he hates Earth, but he's still playing these musicals.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I love that. We don't have to talk about it because it's pretty obvious. But that's very, you know.
Plus, I mean, the moment when he had to cut his dad loose was very gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Him just like scream crying in his spacesuit.
Yeah.
You just can't hear anything, but you can just see how much pain he's going through.
Yeah. And I think I have this later on in the movie. Brad Pitt's facial expressions throughout the entire movie sell his whole performance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one thing to be able to deliver a line with convincing, a tone and convincing, intentions, but to be able to fully tell the story with your facial expressions is a whole nother thing. In this movie, he does an incredible job with facial expression, and I can understand why he won the Golden Globe for Best Actor.
For this movie?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
After seeing it, I don't know who won Oscar in 2019, but I need to see that performance because I don't know that it takes the cake. Do you know who I think won it?
Who?
Joaquin Phoenix for Joker.
For Joker?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
I
Honestly.
do think I have seen it then, and
I can understand
hard. It's a hard one. I can see how it.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I know.
We did see. We did see. Yeah, he did win the Oscar.
Yeah, we did actually. We'll see who wins. Oh shit! Joaquin won! Oh my god!
When are the 2019 Oscars? Oh my god.
No, I that's actually legitimately that's exactly who won. It was Joaquin Phoenix. I don't even have to look it up. I know exactly who did. We talked about the voiceover being good. Another part that made me cry was the look in Brad Pitt's eyes after he made that like really heartfelt transmission to his dad, and he was like that the one where he went off script.
Yeah.
And like the look in his eyes after, and he's like staring into the booth, and they're just kind of like, maybe we're gonna get something. Yeah.
And he's just
them trivializing his
trauma.
Yeah. That
his
was
turmoil. His
yeah.
turmoil.
That was hard to watch.
Yeah.
Have something about cinematography that doesn't really make sense. Tommy Lee Jones is a psychopath.
He needs to be stopped.
Yeah, probably. I thought the cinematography throughout the whole movie was really great. I thought the cinematographer, again, and we've already talked about it, but he delivers a masterclass in this movie. Anything you want to know about a dark tone, about lighting a dark scene without making the dark scene feel bright, watch that movie. Like, try to learn how he did that. Like, because, wow.
The CGI in the movie's really good, too.
Yeah. And that's another thing he's great at. He's great at filming scenes for CGI. That's another thing he's known for, and that's why he was tapped for Tenet and Dunkirk, and absolutely incredible. Great guy.
Yeah, I'd love to see like the behind the scenes for this movie and seeing what all went into it.
And I mean, he did Interstellar too, so I mean,
that's insane.
Yeah.
Interstellar was visually crazy.
Yeah. So.
And I haven't seen Tenet, but I've heard the same thing.
Preston from last episode.
Yeah, Preston always talks about it.
From last episode only.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he's ever known for. No, but he made me watch Tenet. Literally made me watch Tenet, and happy for it. I wish I had known what they were saying. If you know anything about Christopher Nolan, that motherfucker loves somebody who can't articulate. Dark Knight Rises with Bane.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't fucking know. And then Tenet. There's literally a scene where there's a British man talking, and he's got an oxygen mask over his face, and he's going, and you're like, all right, I guess, yeah, that's dialogue, I guess.
Is there an English dub for this movie?
It's like, excuse me, love, that is English. Yeah, that movie's really hard to track, but back on track. I love how the honesty, and I love the honesty and how genuine the emotion of the movie is.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like something we talked about. The whole Cepheus got wiped out. The whole thing. The whole ship.
You talking about the crew or
the whole crew?
Yeah, no, that was wild. I had to rewind that because I was like, he's the last person standing. Like, how the fuck did they all die? Like, it was just so. It was like a span of 5 minutes, and the entire crew just dies.
I kind of wish that the captain had stayed alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like, I don't know.
Well, like in some capacity.
Half of me is like, I wish there was somebody else there with him to like be like, you need to kill this guy. This guy's gonna fucking screw this whole thing up. And he's like, no, wait.
Yeah.
And they're trying to set the nuke off, and then they
have
to, like,
and they try to get the.
But I guess that's kind of like a trope. You know? But I don't know. I don't know if this movie would have benefited with more conflict, or if the conflict in the movie is enough.
I think it kind of. I think it was good that he was the last person. I mean, he had the fact that his father didn't come back to Earth with him, just left him alone for like 3 months, 4 months, just by himself.
Yeah.
Thinking about everything that's been going on.
Yeah, and I guess that's like the most of the, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think it does more for him to sit there and sit with his thoughts of like how he feels about his dad.
Yeah.
That way he can like kind of approach it with a level mind, kind of, because he's been in space for how long?
Yeah. Maybe not sound of mind, but
sound of mind you can have having spent months in space, literally maybe a year. Yeah, I love the visual of him getting back to Earth, and he's got a full-grown beard and hasn't tried to shave at all. And
you can tell he has not been trying to get it, like not been moving. He got out of the spaceship and like just collapsed.
Yeah, like he, yeah, and I really enjoyed that of him being just even just being in a catatonic state, just being like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I've thought for 30 years that my dad was dead. I finally get to him, and he wants me to kill him.
Yeah.
And
that one line that he says to him right before he, like, cuts him off and he just, like, drifts out in space, saying, unlove me. Like, that was just crazy.
Yeah. Could not imagine that at all. I would just break down like a baby.
Yeah.
Not much more can really be said about that.
Don't watch this with your dad.
Yeah,
it'd be awkward.
Well, unless you love your dad. Yeah. If you love your dad, I think this would be fine. But if you and your dad are a little
see
bit
each other in a minute, reconnect after a couple years, sit down and watch this movie.
It'll definitely bring you very close together, and you won't have any resentment. I mean, related to this, I have a quote that I wrote down. The son suffers the sins of the father.
Was that in the movie, or was that?
Yeah.
Was it? Where?
Yeah. That was one of the voiceovers.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I love that quote.
The son always suffers the sins of his father. Yeah. And then that montage about loss when he's drifting off and like on his way to his dad. There's like there's a mini montage about loss in general, not really about his dad, but like about his dad, and then he's thinking about
his wife,
about Liv Tyler, his wife, and then
where
it kind of like mounts all of this loss and hurt that he's felt throughout his whole life, and his pain, like this
acknowledged,
this built up pain that he has, and
I love how he actually changes at the end of the movie. Like everything he went through, like wanting to reconnect with his wife again.
Yeah.
To actually try and be present for her.
Yeah. When Tanya Lee Jones said, "This is home,"
yeah,
I was like, "Oh no,
he's too far gone.
He's gonna have to kill him." He's gonna have to kill him. Like he can't. There's no way. It can end well.
This is home.
And I feel like that whole scene where he's talking to him when he finally gets into his ship.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking to him the whole time in the Lima Project ship, he's talking to him, and you just see like the hurt on his face because he kind of like knows what's happening.
Yeah,
like he understands that his dad is not
going crazy.
Come back from this.
No.
But I think that part is where you really notice where it's like Roy is willing to cut off this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, he sees his father, like, he hasn't seen him since he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And to see him in this kind of state.
Yeah. In the psychological state that Brad Pitt's character is in, you can understand how he's in a spot where, like, he's ready to let go of everything. Because he really sees Earth as his home. And, like, his dad is so far gone that he'll never let go of anything that he believes in. And
I like to think that, like, Brad wanted to be more like his father in, like, the beginning of the movie. Like, he wanted to commit his life to space exploration and everything. And then towards the end of the movie, he sees what it does to a person.
Yeah. And I think that really big overall, realization that when he finally gets to his dad, and his dad's like, there's nothing out there.
Yeah. Losing all hope.
Yeah, he's like, there's nothing. There's just nothing. And he's got the magazine where he's...
Yeah.
It's like, yes.
Is there life? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think especially after that of him, like, meeting his dad and being like, there's nothing out there. And he really is like, all right, well, I'm trying to get the fuck back because I'm wasting time right now.
Time is money.
Yeah. It's, yeah, and in his newfound, like, love for life after finding out there's nothing there is really cool, too. I have another quote written down, where his dad says, I never once thought about home. And he goes, I know, Dad.
Yeah.
That was really, that
was really tough.
That really hurt.
With that, the clip that Roy always had on him, like, of his father, what, do you know how old that was? Like, was that one, like...
I was trying to look all over the screen, and I really could never figure out.
Because I didn't know, like, how many times he would, like, send over, like, video messages and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what time he went dark and just...
I said nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering that, too. That was pretty unclear.
Because it's crazy going from, like, seeing that clip of your dad throughout your entire life of being very enthusiastic about space exploration and finding other life, and pretty much being, like, definitively, like, yeah, there is life, it's just gonna matter, like, when we find it, and then there's nothing.
Hands in the air, I don't think there's anything out there.
My bad, guys. My bad.
But I'm also gonna stay out here and make sure there's nothing out here, so you can't make me go back.
Yeah, if I go back to Earth, you just face an incarceration.
Well, yeah, I'm wanted for war crimes.
There are no maritime laws on space.
Maritime law! I have another quote written down. Brad Pitt's character says this in a voiceover. He says, he could only see what was not there, but not what was right in front of him.
That was kind of heartbreaking, actually.
Yeah, that really cemented. That was one of the last things he really said about his dad, and that really cemented the heartbreak of it, of being like
the pain that he went through, his dad went through.
I mean, like, let's take this for what it is. This is my interpretation a little bit. 2019, Donald Trump is still president. We've got the QAnon shit kind of flowing, and it's like, at a certain point, you look at your loved one, and you're like, God damn, you are off the deep end. Like, you are insane. Like, I want to just believe that we have different political views, or that we just have a different perspective. But
Christ,
like,
you're
you make me want to not be related to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I related it, and that feeling is palpable. I'll remind everyone we live in North Carolina. But
yeah.
Swing
State.
Swing. Yeah, that's all I can say about that.
What are your views on the 2016 election?
All right. Next note says. No, I'm really
on right? Question.
I'm gonna try to get through these last 4 notes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like compartmentalize them. We got 2 minutes 30 seconds till our next break. I had to burp. Not again. Okay, so last 4 notes. I have his relief of Earth was insanely inspiring to watch. Just like the thought of being away from home in general. I mean, when you like go on vacation anywhere, you're like, oh fuck, I wish I was at home.
Yeah.
At some points in time, you're just like, oh fuck, I want to be home. And him like being so awestruck about just seeing Earth again was awesome. And then the visual of him crying at just like the guy reaching his, like a guy he has no fucking clue of, just seeing another human being's hand reach into that capsule is enough to make him cry. Is such a great and strong visual, great direction, great writing, absolutely perfect way to put this person's headspace into perspective. I loved it. But any thoughts about the end of the movie? Because I have one more thing, and we got like a minute and a half. But any thoughts about the end of the movie that you have? Because I love the ending of this movie.
Nothing really that we haven't gone over. I mean, it's just a good ending, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean,
like they wrapped it up really well.
With a bow, 2 bows. You know,
like I genuinely smiled when I saw his wife pop back up in his life again. Like I was very happy for him.
That epilogue scene where he like truly understands like what he wants out of his life and like what's like what means a lot to him and what's like truly important to him. You couldn't ask for a better ending.
Yeah. There's no after credit scene though, so that kind of
I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
I need I kind of wanted to see them tease out Astra too.
His dad comes back.
His dad is Emperor Palpatine.
He's got the Thanos glove. Fade to black.
I'll do it myself. The fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh my god. But yeah, we're gonna do another break real quick. Actually, I have one last note. My last note is submit. Just the perfect last line. Perfect last line. Nothing more needs to be said. I love the last line. I'll leave it at that. We're going to another break. We'll be back in just a minute. It'll be like 10 or 15 minutes after the break. And we're going to have the list up. We're going to rate this movie. We're going to talk about some common themes before that. And then we're going to sign off and be out of your hair. Peace! Actually, not peace. We'll be right back.
Welcome back.
We're going to finish it up. We're going to finish it up. And we're going to talk about the themes. We're going to talk about how we feel about this movie. We're going to give it a rating. And we're going to get the fuck out. So,
I got another podcast.
Yeah, I got shit to do. So I'm gonna run through my themes really quickly. You have any themes written down or anything? Just a few.
Just like father son.
Father
like
versus
dynamics.
son.
Yeah.
That I think that's genuinely the overall overarching theme. So that's I don't have that one. So
the Quizlet answer.
That is legitimately, no, you're right.
Yeah.
That's the Quizlet answer of what is this movie about.
Yeah.
It's daddy issues. That's
Yeah.
that's one of my ones.
In
Yeah,
space.
it's
Daddy
daddy
issues in
issues.
space.
Yeah, daddy issues with the overarching theme that if daddy wins, doomsday for Earth.
Yeah, kind of reminiscent of a little movie called Star Wars, if you ever seen
Never heard of it.
it.
Never heard of that at all. Maybe we can do it for the next episode.
Yeah.
Next time you're on, we might be able to do Star Wars. Have you ever seen any Star Wars
Try finding
movies?
anybody else that hasn't seen Star Wars to do that show.
Bro, I would literally let you and Daniel just do Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
as a
actually.
podcast. I literally would let you and Daniel just watch fucking A New Hope as a podcast,
God,
and I
we
would
get so
literally
off topic.
you would hate it. No, I'm joking. No, you probably would like it, honestly.
No, yeah. Daddy issues in space. That's my.
Yeah. No, I mean that's pretty. Yeah. No, I didn't even think about it like that, but yeah, that's exactly the same like plot device. So yeah, I'm gonna run through my themes real quick. That was incredible because I didn't have that at all. But
Oh really?
That was, no, legitimately, that was. I had man versus self, but I didn't have.
Oh man versus self.
I mean, that's another very overarching theme. Man versus father, man versus self.
Yeah.
I think that's
they go hand in hand.
In a way, but in this movie, I think they do a good job of separating it as well. Yeah. I'm literally about to sprint through these themes. So I have depression, numbness, God, psychological evaluations, loneliness, delusion, capitalism, man versus self, daddy issues, change versus tradition, circle of life, and identity crisis.
It's funny you mentioned God on there because I completely forgot about it, but there were like a lot of, or not a lot, but
there was someone, the captain of the Cepheus prayed to Saint Christopher.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He asked Saint Christopher for
guidance
and a safe travel.
And even his father.
Absolutely, the worst thing you can say to give your character any type of foreshadowing. But,
after getting his nose ripped off by a baboon, it's all in his plan.
God's plan. God wants you to die a horribly tragic death. That's God's plan for you. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the themes were evident in this movie, painfully obvious, and for a good reason. They have a story to tell. They tell it beautifully, and they do not overstay their welcome in any way. This movie is, like I said, 2 hours long, and not a second of it I really feel is wasted. When we first started this, I thought that maybe the monkey scene was a little bit of a waste of time, but I've come to terms with it. We've come to terms with it. I've come to terms with it. I don't know. You seemed like
I was very questioning about that scene. That was the last thing I was expecting to see was a baboon on a spaceship.
But I'm glad we came to terms with that because I really do feel like restructuring that scene has given me a different perspective on the movie. So I really enjoy the baboon scene, honestly, at this point. I came into this being like most unsure about the baboon scene, and then like after talking about it with you, like I honestly am the most sure about the baboon scene of being like the truest like metaphor for humanity in this whole movie, honestly. And there's so much humanity in this movie. So for the scene where there's no talking and he's just getting attacked by baboons and giving him that perspective of like, well, humans are primates too, and they're gonna follow whatever orders they're given or exactly how they feel about a certain given situation, dependent on how they're conditioned to feel about this situation. Incredible. Loved it, and I love that part of the movie at this point. So, yeah.
In a way, I bet he felt like his father too.
Yeah, and just being like, well, I gotta do this for the greater good of
for
humanity.
my needs rather than
Yeah, I agree with that. But the end, the overall why we're here. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna go ahead and give my rating. I love this movie. This was one of my favorite movies that we've watched so far, and I mean that genuinely. Give this movie a 9. A 9 out of 10. I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. Not perfect, but I really like this movie, and I'd love to watch it again. So
yeah, honestly, I wish I had more time before this podcast so I could like rewatch it, because it really was a good movie.
But I would love to sit down and watch it with you.
Yeah.
But what's your rating on this?
Smash. Yeah, I give
pass.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I give it a 9.5.
9.5.
Yeah.
I think that's the highest.
Yeah.
That's the highest since Taxi Driver.
I think the only.
And do you know what that means as well?
What?
It's the highest rated movie in Finding New Films
Holy
history.
Holy moly!
Smacking it in at an 18.5.
Oh my god! Damn.
This movie is gonna go in as the number 1 movie on the Finding New Films list.
This is monumental.
Monumental. Since the first episode is the highest rated. And the closest we've gotten.
But we brought it back. Yeah, we brought it back.
We're delivering you back some quality film, baby.
Yeah.
No. That's actually really cool. And I feel like it full well deserves that too.
Yeah, just barely.
And just barely. So that means that Finding New Films rates Ad Astra over Taxi Driver.
I should watch Taxi Driver too.
You should. I really enjoyed that movie as well. But Ad Astra, next time you see it, will be at the top of that list. Over Mr. Taxi Driver and Mr. De Niro and Scorsese. And I'm okay with that, honestly. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Honestly, I would have given it a 10, but I just feel like there were some lulls in the movie.
Yeah.
My mind would kind of wander.
I agree with that. And there was times where I was like, I'm writing notes down, and I don't really feel like I need to rewind that part of the movie.
Yeah.
So, I'll agree with that. There was some parts where I felt like I could take a break.
Yeah, because it is a 2-hour, not the longest movie, but...
Yeah, it definitely is a brisk pace. I mean, it definitely does what it needs to do and gets out, but... Yeah.
But it's a very good watch.
Absolutely. I would recommend it fully. Absolutely. I would honestly recommend all these movies.
Brad, if you're watching this, good fucking job.
I fucking love you, man.
You killed this shit, man.
I'd have sex with you.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, I think that's enough. I think, honestly, that's a good note to leave on. I would have sex with Brad Pitt.
Yeah. I think all of our viewers should have sex with Brad Pitt.
I wish all of our viewers could.
Yes.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Yeah. But, anyway, we're finding new films. We found Ad Astra, and next week, David will be in the seat. That's confirmed.
Oh, really?
If I have to edit this, I'm gonna be pissed the fuck off. Just kidding. But we're finding new films. We found Ad Astra, and next week we will be finding Apocalypse Now. David will be in the seat. This was Zach. I want to thank Zach for doing this. We literally watched this movie at the exact same time.
Yeah, like
Daniel,
maybe a minute off.
Daniel,
just in different rooms.
I think I started this movie like 20 minutes before you, but Daniel called me midway to like ask me a question, and it was 12 minutes, and like I was coming out of the bathroom, and I saw like where he was in the movie, and I was like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "He's meeting his dad," and I was like, "I'm not even there!" And I like sprinted back into the room we're in right now because there's another TV like right over there to my right, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to go see it." And literally, it was right after, like as soon as I started pressing play, he started meeting his dad, and so
I could hear his dad calling out, "Roy, Roy, is that you?" And I was like, "Holy shit, he's so close."
We were like literally like fucking like head to head watching this movie.
Guess who came out first?
Me, actually. You were watching the movie for like 5 minutes after me.
Hey, I did some research. I honestly did go back and rewind some moments.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It's alright. This movie is a little dense.
Yeah.
But for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
For good reason. But yeah, David will be here next week. You guys will meet David. You won't have to meet me though, because this is like the 7th hour of me talking on this podcast. You'll hear an 8th next week.
It's only going up for here.
Since you're lucky. But yeah, we've been finding new films. We found this one. We're finding another one next week. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like the video, comment.
Mm-hmm.
Please comment. I want to know what you guys think. If you have seen this movie before, let us know what you think.
If you would fuck Brad Pitt or not. Just anything.
Let us know if you would. And I know that you would. Yeah, for real. Like, anything you gotta say about this? Good, bad, negative, ugly like...
You think my beanie sucks?
I'll
take the constructive criticism.
I mean, I'll literally fight you, but... if you think you're better than me, then go ahead. No. But, appreciate it. Thank you. Goodbye. Yeah, that's enough. Peace.